Okay, perfect. So I am live. Hello, everyone. If you are catching the replay, please comment below. Let me know that you're watching the replay. Just comment the word replay or whatever you feel like commenting. Super excited to be here with you on this Monday evening, and I promise I will not hold you long. I want to talk to you tonight about mindset work. And I want to share with you some of the epiphanies, aha moments I've had as I've been doing this work consistently on myself and with my clients for the last couple of years. And I want to share with you some of the epiphanies that may seem common, but in all honesty, when you are on your own mindset journey, your journey to becoming your best self, your most abundant self, your most successful self, are very easy to overlook. So if you are interested in hearing about mindset work and some of the epiphanies I've had, make sure you, one, keep watching, two, share this out and invite someone else. Let me quickly introduce myself and we'll get started. My name is Kyshira, if you were wondering how to pronounce it, Kyshira. I am an internationally board certified success coach. That's a fancy way of saying I took a bunch of tests and I'm certified in a number of modalities of coaching. My specialty is business coaching, and I actually serve coaches. I work with coaches in all industries, all niches, on everything from messaging, marketing, developing your offer, and of course, selling your offer online authentically in alignment without all of the burnout and the overwhelm. Again, today I want to talk to you about mindset work and why there's a high likelihood that your mindset work ain't working. So, in order for me to give you this tea, I have to take you way back and tell you a little bit about my experience in corporate America. If you don't know, I have an MBA and my corporate background is actually banking, HR, and higher education. My very last job was actually career coaching, interestingly enough, full time. And I've told this story on a number of podcast interviews, but when I was working in corporate America, I actually liked corporate America. I did not start my career with the dream of becoming a business owner. I enjoyed going to work. I liked being downtown. I liked wearing my little outfits, but I don't know if you all have had this experience, but I had the experience, unfortunately, where I just kept having bad corporate experiences. I kept being in environments where I was too black, too smart, too talented, too on top of it. I move too fast. I'm too focused. I'm this and that. And I'm not saying these things to just like pump myself up. These are things that literally like held me back in corporate, and I couldn't understand why job after job I kept having these very odd experiences with managers of all colors, all genders. It was just very weird. And so when I was having these experiences and developing this frustration, I was building my side hustle at the time. I was doing personal branding. My specialty was actually Twitter and LinkedIn back in the day, helping career professionals and business owners stand out by way of content marketing. That was my beginning. And so when I decided to get very serious about my business and decide I wanted to go full time, that is where all of the hurdles came from. And in the beginning, I could not understand why I'm amazing at marketing. I have a huge client roster and I'm helping my clients make money. But one, I'm not seeing ends meeting over here. And two, it just feels like I'm getting nowhere closer to quitting my job. There is nothing like being fully booked and having no money. Okay. And the reason why that happened is because of money mindset. That my money mindset and life mentality showed up drastically in my pricing at the time. And so when I was running into these roadblocks, I always thought it was just some kind of issue with messaging, some kind of issue with marketing. But in real life, these were mindset issues that were now manifesting in my business. And what's so interesting is that sometimes some of us, tell the truth, some of us don't really listen in when people talk about mindset work because we assume that mindset work is only for those who carry trauma. First of all, most of us do carry trauma. Let's just be honest. Like, most of us carry trauma, but we have a very skewed perception. We just assume that if we had decent childhoods, then that means nothing's wrong with us. That means we wouldn't have any trauma. But if you are coming from corporate America and you didn't have great experiences like I did, there's a strong likelihood that you have corporate PTSD. Okay, you have some things from your corporate experience that you are bringing into your business experience, let alone whatever you are carrying from childhood and your youth. So there was three big hurdles that I faced coming from corporate America. The first being struggling with confidence, that imposter syndrome, because I was in situations where being too talented was actually not a good thing. Being too talented actually got you in trouble. It got you, it didn't get you far, right? So I struggled with confidence, especially early on, because I started my business in my early 20s and was trying to grow it in my mid 20s. So, of course, there's a whole identity crisis situation. But I really struggled with confidence, with consistently putting myself out there. It literally took me 3 years to put myself on camera, y'all. Like, that's how intense this struggle was. I also struggle with money mindset from the standpoint of, I took the passionate job. Like, working in HR or education at the entry level is by no means the most lucrative positions. And y'all know how raises work in corporate. It's a little 1.5%, 2% each year, right? So that the way that I looked at money in corporate, where it was very just like not enough, very much impacted my business and how I even viewed pricing. Additionally, I just really struggled with my ability to like see like the vision, like being able to think future. All I could see was like present tense of just wanting to be out, but I couldn't really visualize. And this is so important because as side hustlers or business owners, entrepreneurs, however, whatever you call yourself, you are still a CEO. You are not just the coach. You are not just the consultant or the designer or your title. You are also a CEO. And a big part of being a CEO is decision making. Unfortunately, many of us are solo founders, so you don't have a business partner or a board of directors yet to vet ideas off of. You have to learn how to trust your own gut and instinct. And when you don't understand the vision, when you can't see your vision, it's very hard to make those gut decisions. That's why we tend to go to social media and Facebook groups to try to get validation for our ideas, when in all honesty, it should come from within. And so when we think about some of these challenges that sound really common, right? Like confidence, imposter syndrome, money mindset, these things are very constant, but here's where the work is not working. Here's where it stops. And maybe some of you can relate. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to let me know down in the chat. Someone on Facebook is saying that they've been using the affirmation cards to help. That's really exciting to hear. I'm so glad you've been loving your affirmation cards, excuse me. So one of the first mistakes that I made with mindset work was assuming that it was just going to happen out of thin air, right? Assuming that if I just kept my head down and just kept working hard, things are just going to magically change. And I used to have a very narrow perspective that, oh, once I just hit this goal, everything else will fall into place. And I just kept my head down and just kept waiting to be blessed. I don't know if anyone here has had that experience, but that was me. And that's not how it works, okay? Are you going to be blessed abundantly? Of course, but faith without works is dead. We have to actually put in some work. Otherwise, we're literally just living in our status quo. We can't just continue to do the exact same thing time over time and expect things to change. The literal definition of insanity. We cannot just hope and wish and pray. We actively have to put in work. And the mindset work here is very much separate than the strategic work you're doing in your business to move it forward. It is its own separate thing. Which leads me into my next mistake, assuming that mindset work is a one-time situation. You journaled one time. You did affirmations one time. You watched a mindset video one time. You prayed one time. You did yoga one time and then it didn't work. And this shows itself in your business, because if you are someone who hops strategy to strategy, course to course, coach to coach, and assuming that it's not because of scammy situations, but it's like something worked for you one time, you're on to the next. It's very much symbolic of how your mindset journey is going as well. The key word in all of this is work, meaning it's going to take more than one attempt, more than one try, and every time won't be successful. One of the most freeing things I've learned on my self-discovery journey is that when you meditate, every meditation session is not a great one. Every meditation session does not end with you feeling peaceful and kumbaya and just floating over the world. There are some where you are still very much left with your feelings after the fact, and there are some when you are feeling on top of the world. That is the nature of this work. But when we do it one time and we don't see the result we thought we would get, we then become very pessimistic, and we begin to reject the value of it. And it takes a long time to undo that, right? But if we shift our perspective on how we actually view the work, we're setting ourselves up for a higher rate of success. Additionally, I was trying to do it by myself. I've told the story a lot about how long it took me to make my first real investment in my business, and how immediately after doing that, things drastically started to shift for me. Now, I often say that making the investment by itself is not the work. Like, that's just literally the beginning, and it's truly the easy part. However, if you do struggle with money mindset, that is the beginning of a switch being flipped for you, and one that is required, because you are now subconsciously showing yourself that you are worthy, right? Based on this investment, which then helps you to have more confidence when it comes to actually now shifting your pricing to reflect that feeling of worthiness that now comes with that. So getting support looks however you want it to look. Of course, that's coaching, that's getting therapy, that's whatever is the best thing for you. For me, it looked like the combination of all of them: business coaching, life coaching, therapy, counseling, all of the above, right? Because again, this work is so serious. And when you go deeper into this, you honestly start to open up wounds that you might not have even known were there, or that were buried really deep. If you worked with any kind of life coach or healer, you know what I'm talking about. And so you want someone with some real training that can help you to navigate that, so that that doesn't cause you to shut down, right? But again, going into it knowing that it's going to be work. That one session by itself won't be enough, but it is going to be the start of that ongoing lifelong journey. So, a couple of things that I want you to consider in terms of getting ready to start this journey for yourself. I already talked about how you really very much need support, but in addition to support, you need the desire, right? You have to actually want to change. That sounds crazy, right? Like, why wouldn't I want change? Why wouldn't I want to call in abundance? Why wouldn't I want prosperity? Why wouldn't I want more of a growth mindset? You'd be surprised at how comfortable it is to sit in your current mess. You'd be surprised at how comfortable it is to stay exactly where you are and continue to go on about it, right? Whether that's hoping and wishing, or praying, or complaining, or whatever it is, it's actually easier to sit in that than to commit to a journey of change and undoing some of the current thought patterns that are holding you back, right? You have to have a true desire for this. It's very much the same thing in your business. If you want your business to grow, you have to have a true desire for that, because at the end of the day, your coach, your consultant, your therapist, they cannot force you to do anything. You can pay me X amount of dollars, but that doesn't mean that I can force you to get out of bed, or force you to get on your computer, force you to do your work, force you to show up on live stream. You have to, the only thing that's going to get you out of bed, especially when you're tired and you don't feel like it, is that true desire. You have to have that desire. If not, I wouldn't even embark on this journey. It's going to take work. Getting to 6 and 7 figures is going to take work. I know the internet makes it look very easy, but it's going to take work. And the only thing that's going to drive that work is your desire. There are no performance reviews in entrepreneurship. Like, you are the person doing that. So you have to have such a serious desire, right? We have to fully commit to the journey of this change, and fully committing to putting in this work on a daily basis, okay? And keep in mind, every day won't necessarily be a victory, but give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace on the journey, because if you don't, you can fall back into victimhood. And victimhood looks like it's everybody else's fault. It looks like this just didn't work for me. This looks like this strategy, I was sold X, Y, and Z, and we easily fall back into this. Oh, I did this thing and it didn't work. And it ends up becoming this very strange self-fulfilling prophecy of you halfway showing up all the time. I always tell my clients, whenever they're getting ready to create marketing content or live stream content, to do it when they're in a really good space. Because if you do it when you're not feeling it and you don't feel like it, is going to come out. And of course, nobody in your audience is going to say, oh girl, I could tell you're not feeling it today. They're going to just know it on a subconscious level, and they're not going to engage with you, especially in the high ticket space. Especially in we're not paying 4 and 5 figures for somebody that doesn't seem like they want to be here, or someone who isn't confident in their own offering, right? And so that same thing very much applies here. We have to fully commit to consistently showing up to avoid that rabbit hole of victimhood and that grip it can have on us and our businesses, right? Let's get out of that struggle. Your mind is so powerful. I know we talk about the law of attraction all the time, but another law to think about is the law of expectation. Instead of expecting things to be difficult for you and expecting things to be hard for you, begin to expect for things to work out. Start to expect for things to have ease and flow. And again, we're so conditioned to things just being difficult that we get nervous when something seems too easy. This is also a part of your mindset work. Again, undoing those limiting thought patterns that are creating those blockages for you in your life and in your business. So these are the things that I want you to consider as you embark on your mindset journey. Now, as we wrap this discussion up tonight, it's like, okay, what does all this have to do with my business? Like, I kind of get it, I kind of don't. Again, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you are also a CEO. As a CEO, one of the most important jobs you have is setting the vision, setting the foundation, and making strategic decisions. All of these blocks I talked about before, money mindset, imposter syndrome, lack of confidence, lack of clarity, lack of vision, all of that can cause you to make really crazy, really bad decisions in your business that will either kill it altogether or drastically slow down your growth and slow down your timeline to success. All of these things go hand in hand. This is not just about marketing anymore. This is about big picture thinking and big picture vision. So if you want to go deeper into this concept of what it really means to be a CEO and how your mindset plays a role in this, I actually created a new free masterclass for you. It's called the Power Coaching Playbook. You can click the link in my bio or the link in the description box, which is basically thefoundercircle.com/PC playbook. You'll get instant access to this training, and it's going to walk you through some of the core components of a successful coaching business that most coaches are missing. And the very first thing we talk about there is the CEO perspective and what that actually looks like for your business and how this actively plays a role in whether or not you are always burnt out, overwhelmed, unfulfilled throughout your business. How do we bypass all that to get to the actual results that you desire? With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will talk to you all sometime later on this week with another video.